discipline is possible without disconnection. And that's really what the Parenting with Understanding program is all about.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Marcela. I am so happy to be back for another week, and I'm really, really excited about our guest speaker this week.
Yes, yeah. We are doing our Cycle Breaker Spotlight of the month. So for this interview, we are interviewing Marta. She's a member of the Parenting with Understanding program. She has 2 girls. She's originally from Spain, and she lives in the UK currently. And she's coming to tell us how she broke her cycle of overreacting and yelling, and how she's parenting her girls with understanding. But before we go there, Rachel has an exciting announcement.
Yes. I'm so excited to tell you guys that if you missed my last masterclass last month, I am repeating that masterclass this Friday, the 14th, at 7 p.m. Eastern, and it is the 3 secrets to end the cycle of yelling and overreacting as a parent. We had over 9,500 people register for this masterclass last month, and it was absolutely amazing. The whole class was incredible, and I hope that you will sign up. It's very easy. You can just open the description of this podcast episode, and there will be a link there to register.
Yes. Another thing that I want to say is that if you've been waiting to enroll in the Parenting with Understanding program, at the end of every free class, we open the space for you to enroll. People ask me all the time, I don't see the way to enroll in your on HIC Parenting's website. No, we don't offer the course on our website directly. We do it in our class. So that will be your opportunity if you're looking to enroll. Hi, Marta.
Hello, Marcela. Hello, Rachel. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for being here. Okay, so could you please illustrate to our listeners, our cycle breakers, where are you at in your parenting journey? So let's go back to the past. Before you started Parenting with Understanding, you've been doing the Parenting with Understanding program for how long? Since May, I think? You started your Parenting with Understanding journey just a few months ago, and you're already living a lot of transformation and changes. Now, let's go back to before. Before Parenting with Understanding, you have 2 girls. How was your life? How was your parenting life before?
Yeah, I have to say it was very, very different to what I am living right now. I feel I am in kind of like an inflection point in my parenting. I feel it just at the beginning. So I always knew since I got my first daughter 4 years ago that I wanted like kind of be a gentle parent and kind of like listen to her and especially help her to grow very much on her confidence. So this went well until I had my second daughter during COVID, the pandemic, working from home with both of them, a newborn and a 2-year-old at the time. And I just didn't have the tools on how to how to respond and how to manage the daily life. So I have always known that I wanted to do something different to what I know from before, but I didn't know what. So I was very, very frustrated. Many times I was feeling without any type of control, like not really knowing what to do. So I went from like very determined to something gentle to yelling, like it was my go-to all the time. And it was really frustrating because I knew this was something I didn't want it at all, but I didn't know what else to do. So now it's been a big change. I got to know you from TikTok, Facebook, and I was enrolling one of Rachel courses, and it was like, wow, this is kind of like the help I've been looking for, like to do this different parenting I wanted to do, and I didn't know how.
Wow, so you said that number 1, you knew you wanted to change your parenting. Number 2, you wanted to change your parenting to a more conscious parenting. However, you feel like you didn't have the tools and you didn't know how to get there. You said that you got one of Rachel's resources. I'm curious, what What was that resource that you got at first?
I think it was one of the 3 steps to parenting with understanding, or something like that. I can't remember now exactly.
Was it a master class that you
Yes,
attended?
yes, it was a master class. Rachel was talking about some past experiences and how strong they were, how in what she didn't want to do with her daughter, and how she had like found a totally different way to parent. And I thought I resonate very much with what Rachel was explaining. Yeah, I saw it very clearly. Like it was like a very different way to everything I had seen before, and that it fitted so well. Like learning about the child's needs, how to respond. Well, yeah, it was just very clear at the moment that this would be something from what I would benefit, and it's been like that at 1000%.
Was your spouse on board when you told them, okay, I think I'm gonna start the Parenting with Understanding program? What did he say?
The funny thing is that he has always had much more patience than me with the girls. For instance, one of the moments where I was very frustrated was in the nap time, when my older daughter always had trouble sleeping. And this was some of the moments that triggered me a lot, because I thought at the moment that she needed to sleep, and I couldn't manage how to make her sleep. Some of the past language, can you hear here? So he was always saying to me, "Oh, you need to have more patience with her." And it was like, yeah, but I'm doing my best, and I don't know how to do that. And it was after starting the program and learning about the child's needs, and to see, okay, she's doing that because she's saying something to me that I'm not totally getting. And after that, I started to understand what he was referring to as that I had to be more patient. So he has kind of like done this parenting with understanding, and he has been very supportive, because I've been talking for a long time, and he has seen me struggling with my reactions to them. So he was very supportive. Yeah.
I hear you say that once you started learning about what your children really needed from you, your tendency to overreact or maybe get angry went down just because you had more understanding. Is that what I hear you say?
Yes, totally. Before I had a very inner part of me, a very strong belief saying like, or believing, if I ask them to do something several times and ask them well to do that and they don't respond, this is not possible. I mean, I have this obedience part very strong on me, like if I ask something, they should respond. And this was not happening just because the development stage. So I was really struggling with that, because it was kind of like, I think things should be this way, very rigid. The reality was totally different, because they are children and they are behaving just as children. So this was a very first shift, like to see, no, they cannot comply with what you are asking straight away, just because you are saying so. It's very basic. It's something very, very basic, but I think I was lacking the knowledge about child development and what are the needs of a child. And the course has been able to digest all this information and make this information available to me. And after understanding these things, I've been able to hear them, what they were saying, instead of my frustration, rigidness response I had before.
That brings up a really great point, because as I'm listening to you talk about a child's inability really to control their impulses and their emotions and to do the right thing the very first time, I can hear the listeners, or I think most of our listeners probably are gentle parents, but I can hear the traditional parents saying, well, my child listens the very first time because I spank their bottom if they don't. Or yeah, you can get your child to listen immediately when you discipline them. But I think it's important to talk about what happens when we go that route versus the route of parenting with understanding. Because many of us, I know you, Marta, myself, Marcela, we did all grow up in homes where that first time obedience was expected. And when we didn't obey the first time, we got punished for it. And what happened is that we have all grown up with these same tendencies to react toward our children by either walking away or by fighting back. And neither of those actually understands where the child is coming from and understands their emotional needs, their psychological needs, their developmental needs. And it shuts down communication over time, right? It silences communication because that behavior is communicating a need. So it stunts the growth of a child in a lot of ways when we do punish and we expect that first time obedience. And there's a number of other things that are very unhealthy that it can produce as well. But I think that you bringing up the point of like actually seeing my child's behavior and their disobedience, not just as disobedience, but as, okay, you're not obeying me this first time, but it's because you actually have a need that's going unmet right now. So I'm going to look underneath the behavior and I'm going to meet the need. And that corrected the behavior over time. Is that right?
It's totally, and I have missed to mention that before, but one of the main changes from before to after the starting this journey has been the connection with my daughter, especially my oldest, because when my youngest was born and I started kind of like to yell more out of frustration, I had a very, very strong disconnection with her. And I was like many times thinking, she's not coming to me as much as she used to. Many times she goes to her dad. Slowly, I'm gaining this connection with her again. And this is a wall. This is a wall. This is a massive change. To see her like now, like sometimes she's angry and she comes to me and says, I'm angry. And I'm so proud of her saying that. Or when she has something at school and she comes to me and explains that friend did that. So to gain this connection, I have many playful moments with her again, which I had lost. Because before it was like just a lot of frustration. She was crying a lot as well. And yes, totally. I think that's the big win, like to be able to reconnect with her. And that's why I think why I was saying before that I see this as the beginning of hopefully a journey. They are 4 and 2 years old, so I think I'm in my way repairing this couple of years which have been hard with my daughter, and to get a stronger basis of communication with them, because one of the main things I have always wanted is for them to be able to express themselves and be confident, and starting in the relation with me. I mean, as a main carer, and I was going like kind of like the opposite way somehow, and because of course I always try like ask the things gently, but this was not working, and then I always finish up with the yelling. So it's been a massive change there. Yeah.
So there was something that stood out to me when you said that they're running towards me when they have big feelings, when they have something going on, instead of away from me. That's huge. And to the listener, I want you to imagine that as well. Because a lot of the times, and I read this in a scientific article, that when we are in a rut, like in a cycle, our brain tricks us into thinking that there is no way to get out of reactivity, that there is no way to get out of yelling, that there is no way that my children will listen if I don't yell. But that's a mind trick that our brain plays with us because we've been in that cycle so long. Marta is the living example that it is possible, right? It is possible. She is not a child development expert. She's a mom who, number one, committed to make a change, and number two, committed to take the first step by accessing the help. And that's one thing that I thought last time that Rachel and I went live. I was thinking, like, what is preventing people from accessing that help? I mean, I know that there are TikToks and Reels and Instagram posts, and those things are like great tips and nuggets of information. But are they really help? Marta, I'm sure before you came to the Parenting with Understanding program, you were already consuming our TikToks and our Reels, our posts. What is the difference between just staying with that and being in the Parenting with Understanding program? I'm very curious.
Yeah, when I was in the TikToks, I loved, and I still see them. They were very relatable situations, like, oh, this happens to me. How is it that, well, it's someone like expressing kind of like what I am feeling. But I still couldn't fully, I still didn't have the knowledge, even if it's at a basic level, but I still didn't have the knowledge of identify the situation, a particular situation with my daughters, and kind of like say, okay, this is what is happening, or this is what I think is happening. What are the response, or what is the best way to respond? So I didn't have that knowledge, because this is like very clear, very structured in the course, and it's very easy to absorb the knowledge in the course. So I think this is where it has helped me, especially in the beginning. And then I have also lived kind of like a personal change as well. So one side is the knowledge. This was like first thing, I gained a lot of confidence, and I knew like what to do, what to look at in my children. Then there has been also the internal journey where I have, the coaching sessions have been life changing to me. I think it's not just my parenting. I think I'm also changing limiting beliefs internally. I think I'm growing together, not only as a mom but also personally. And many things have come from how I was parenting, and then they pointed other things I've been working on. So the coaching is very, very personalized. It brings all these aha moments that are, yeah, game changers.
That's beautiful. For those, I'm thinking some of the listeners may not know the coaching that you're talking about. She's talking about our advanced mentorship group coaching that we offer to members of the Parenting with Understanding program. It is separate from Parenting with Understanding, which is a self-paced course, but the advanced mentorship group coaching sessions, we meet weekly. Marcela and I meet with a group of usually between 12 and 15 people, and we coach through the application process of the tools in Parenting with Understanding. And we do talk a lot about the mindsets and really get to the root of the things that are holding us back.
I want to add, if I may, that the course was a game changing already because of the knowledge. Because I kind of like didn't. It helped me like to structure the stages of development the children needs, and to navigate through them. So this was already a game changer, and then the coaching has been like a full new level.
Yes, it is a framework for sure. And when I wrote the program, I thought I think I told Rachel how I came up with the formula. I was in psych evaluation for one of my children in foster care. And then as I was waiting in the waiting room, I saw a teenager. He came tied to the hands and the feet because I guess he was aggressive. And then I looked at him and said, oh my goodness, like it just broke my heart. And then I said, if I just could apply all the things that I'm already doing with my children in therapeutic care, which is unveiling their needs, unveiling his needs, so he doesn't have to get to aggression, settling him down so he feels safe, and educate him in better ways, in better skills. And then as I was thinking that, I was like, wow, that's really a framework. And that's what I do in therapeutic care with children that have a lot of diagnoses. All the kids that came to the therapeutic program have either ADHD, ODD, PTSD, mood disorder. And that was what I would have, the service I was providing. I was availing their needs, settling them down when they're upset, and educating them in better skills. And then I'm like, oh, wow, that's like a little formula. And then there was a napkin on the table right next to me, and I wrote U, unveiling needs, S, settling them down, and E, educating them. I'm like, use. That's a formula. That's the use formula. And at the time, I was already writing the program, but I didn't have the use formula in mind. And from that moment on, I plugged that formula, and that's the whole framework. And that's the difference between Tic Tacs and the program itself. Tic Tacs is kind of like a show where when you watch for example, when you watch these home renovation transformation shows that they show you the before and the after, but they don't really show you exactly what it took for them to take that home from looking really bad to great. That's a Tic Tac. We show you the before, we show you the after, we show you the problems, but the framework, the process, it's in the program. And I think that's what has helped so many parents like Marta to have like a clear 3-step formula, very clear and simple, that they can apply with their kids.
I got goosebumps when you were explaining that. Because, yeah, thank you for putting it together.
Yeah, the main thing that I hear in all of this is that discipline is possible without disconnection. And that's really what the Parenting with Understanding program is all about. It's all about teaching you how to correct your children through connection and how to discipline without disconnecting, because so many of us did grow up with that kind of discipline, right? That there had to be a disconnect, whether it was physically, being in separate places, or emotionally, where a parent would pull away love in order to try to teach a lesson, or relationally, there was a relational tension, and it does not have to be that way. And so if you are listening to all of this, you're listening to Marta and you're thinking, I would love to end the cycle of yelling and overreacting as a parent myself. I would love to learn how to discipline without disconnecting from my child. I want to encourage you again to sign up for my free masterclass this Friday. Again, it's very simple. Open the description of this podcast and click the link there to register.
Yes, this class is for parents of children 1 to 8 who want to end the cycle of yelling and overreacting and are curious about what parenting with understanding is, because in the class, Rachael is going to work on mindset and is going to show you the parenting with understanding framework as well, and how that can help you end the cycle. Before we end, I want you, Marta, if it's okay, for the listeners who may already heard about parenting with understanding and are on the fence. They're like, I don't know if this will work for my family. What do you have to say to those listeners?
It's totally worth it. It's the best investment you can do for your children, for you, for your relation with them, for a long life journey with them. So I remember when I heard about the course, I thought about it. For me, it has been from going from frustration, not knowing what to do, knowing that there was something wrong, and feeling my daughter each time further away, to a feeling of empowerment to myself, to know what I am doing. It's not perfect, but I can navigate through the situations now. This connection, Rachael was talking before, I feel connected with them, and it's coming very naturally. I'm incorporating that into every moment, from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to sleep. It's becoming so easy to connect with them. Of course, there are challenges, but all this frustration of, I don't know what to do, I don't know, this totally helplessness has shift totally to breathing. Let's breathe. Let's see what we can do with them, with the little ones. So yeah, I would say to them that it's the best investment you can do.
Also, if you need a supportive community and you have any product of ours within HIC Parenting Education, you can become part of our Facebook group. It's the HIC Cycle Breaker community. There's a ton of support and love there from other cycle breakers. And Marcela and I are in there occasionally to be able to interact with you, but you get a lot of love and support in that place. So if that's something that you need, if you need a village, this is a perfect place to go for that. And don't forget, it only takes understanding to break your cycle. We'll see you next week.
Bye.